Picture yourself stepping into a tale that you wrote all by yourself. That's the fate our hero faced. But in the tale of his book, he was reborn as the villain instead of the hero. To stop the tragedy, he chooses to turn good and recruit the finest students from the merm world. And this work is the best harem you'll ever see. So let's jump right into the video. The tale starts when our hero gets the memories from an old person's body. He stepped into a world full of rival clans and powerful masters. He has no idea where he is. When he looks down, he spots one of his servants and believes he is dreaming a perfect dream. We see our hero being shameless while the little girl keeps begging her master to stop. He finally understood that this wasn't a dream, but real life. As he gazes at the little girl, he realizes she is Ling, a character from his own book. Then his head began to ache, and one of his disciples grew worried. She was so scared that she might have hurt her master's head and gotten in trouble that she trembled with fear. But he tells the little girl not to cry and tries to make her feel better. He understood everything, so I found myself trapped in the book I wrote, playing the villain instead of the hero. The master is acting so strange, and I can't help but wonder why he suddenly feels so kind toward me. Our hero had taken the villain Shin's place in his own story. He was a powerful cultivator with a cruel heart who chased strength at any cost, plotting from the start to steal the hero's treasures and life through trickery and threats. But our hero wrote a story where the real main character finally defeats the villain Shin right at the very end of the book. Our hero is in deep trouble because he woke up as the villain instead of the good guy. So from that day on, he set out to do his best to be a good person. Because he loved playing video games and knew that reincarnated characters always got powerful systems, he was sure there had to be one for him too. But our hero couldn't get any of the systems to work. Ling keeps wondering if her master has lost his mind. Well, here's my newest student, and she is a real silly one. But my second disciple, Ming, is just average and can't use her powers. So in my original story I ended up killing her like a villain because she switched sides to the hero. So I promise not to act like a fool and will finally be a good person. And the best part is that I have my own special group of amazing women just for me. That guy has no shame at all. He pushes open the dojo door and there, waiting for him, are his students. When he arrived, he saw the second disciple bowing. My God, I can't stop shaking my head at the story I wrote, because you'll see why he feels ashamed now that his book is full of mistakes. Alright, Ming, stand up. You don't have to keep bowing. Master Shun, I've just gotten a message from another clan. Our hero can think of nothing but the stunning figure of his second disciple. He needs to check out that invitation she told him about. But she starts to get scared because it was all a lie. She was just making up a story because she never went to pick up an invite. She stayed away because she was worried about the third disciple, the oldest one. I know she's making it up because I wrote the story, so I'll be kind and spare my second disciple since she was just worried about her older sister. While all the hero students treat their lord like a supreme ruler, the girl feels like a weight has been lifted. He keeps telling Ming she doesn't have to bow to him or worship him, and they can just act like normal, good friends. What did you mean, master? That task is no longer needed. No, I promise I won't punish you for lying anymore. So he walks away, proving himself a merciful teacher who will now guide his students properly. Unlike the villain in the book who cared only about his own power and neglected his own lessons. Ming begins to fall in love with the young master, and when she asks if he feels the same way, he admits it. She keeps shaking her head and saying no. They called that spot Perry, a secret peak that only belonged to Master Shun's clan. Up on the other peaks, other clans lived there and fought against one another. But some clans were friends too and often met up. Our hero knew the mountains held precious stones that would help the main character defeat the final villain, so he had to get ready. He sees birds munching on his garden plants and chases them away. He even taps into his cultivation power, a force known as the Transcendent Jade Blade. He wields a power so mighty it could shake the world, yet he uses it just to hunt down those birds. He felt nervous because he'd forgotten parts of the story, so he summoned his disciples to climb to the top of the hill. They take a long time, and when they finally arrive, they stand up there out of breath. My dear disciple, this new apprentice, who had been with them for 2 years, still couldn't use any magic. She springs to her feet and bows deeply to show her master the utmost respect. Our hero felt so ashamed that his cheeks turned red. Even though his first disciple couldn't use any power, not even the strong fire and wood elements. Originally, I wrote her as a mere concubine, but I couldn't leave her with that role alone. Instead, I must treat her kindly and teach her the art of cultivation. He begins to wander into silly thoughts before quickly finding his way back to a brave and good idea. He asks, "Who set those birds free to steal my healing herbs?" And everyone freezes in fear, unable to speak. His anger flared as he demanded to know who was to blame. Well, I need to be kind to them, so I'll try to remember who did this in the book. At that very moment, He realizes the pretty girl he's been smitten with since her punishment was his eldest disciple, Dong. That's why the other girls were worried about the elder sister. For it was true that I had punished her and caused her to let the birds loose. Master, please don't punish us, and forgive the elder disciple, for I am the one who made this mistake, not her. He shouts for them to be quiet because of the loud noise, then asks if she is mocking the master for being unsure of what to do. She apologizes again, promising she'd never dare to order the master around since he doesn't want to be scary. So he simply waves them out of his way, and the girls roll away in fear. I remember from the book that Pizair Bay was split into 3 distinct sections. The first area is where the clan's outer servants make their home. The second spot is where the best disciples live. And the third place is naturally my home, the home of Master Shin. That's just how our hero's family always played the game. In the second area where the disciple Dong was healing, our shameless hero decided to go inside, opened the door to find her bathing, and was struck by a divine vision of such beauty he had never seen before. She apologizes for not knowing the master was coming, and he quickly shuts the door, trying to act like nothing happened. This book tells the story of the gods, and I can't believe I was lucky enough to witness something so beautiful. The guy was a bad man who knew those wounds were his own fault, because that villain was truly wicked. He wanted to heal his first disciple, Dong, even though Dong had been the one who caused the injuries as punishment. I'll tell you straight, she's totally cool with taking a few hits. She acts just like Darkness from Konosuba. If you know the secret, you know the punchline. Don't worry, Dong. This won't happen again, so you can rest easy. In truth, he actually hoped that same awkward moment would happen again so he could walk in and catch her caught off guard once more. She has been strangely quiet lately, making her wonder if the master has already fled, and why he ran away so fast without even caring about her at all. Just then, Shin opens the door again, and the girl suddenly feels embarrassed. He leans close and asks her to open her mouth since he's about to give her some medicine. So he gently placed the medicine in her mouth to help her get better. He claims this 4th grade potion works best when she soaks in the bathtub, letting her absorb it quicker and grow stronger. That pill cost a fortune in gold coins, but he insisted it was totally worth it. Under the cover of darkness, the 2 curious sisters sneak around to peek at their older sister and check if she is all right. Little sister, hush now, or the master will catch us and punish us for sure. Relax, the master is training at night so he won't see us, and since we've got those precious healing pills for our older sister, we need to be super careful as we move them to the next house. I know, older sister, open the door because we have medicine waiting for you. With no reply coming their way, they began to fear the worst. That sister Dong was gone. Ling headbutts the door, forcing it open and stumbling into the recovery dormitory. They watched the older sister tend her garden and climb up into the land of the immortals. With all the wounds on her back gone, Ling decides it's time for her to grow her own sect. But then they hear the master's voice behind them, asking what they are doing out so late. Well, master, we've come to check on Sister Dong and make sure she is all right, so now that we've done that, we say goodnight and are heading back. They were clutching a healing potion that our hero realized had been stolen. Trying to look like a kind and merciful person, he didn't get angry and praised them for caring about their older sister Dong, proving the master has really softened his heart. Is he truly the same master we know? I'm not sure, he feels quite different to me. She spoke with flushed cheeks, looking as though she was head over heels in love with the young master. At first, I only wanted to steer my story in a new direction, but now I've grown to truly like my disciples. It felt like I had to step up and lead them, just like our hero sat atop Passerby, deep in his meditation. My book says Master Shin has 2 spiritual roots, wood and water. Though these elements are strong, the hero in this story is even mightier than the villain. That is why I have to put in a lot of work. He began testing his powers by slicing a bench with his water magic. That power was incredible, but he knew it still wouldn't be enough to stop the book's hero. After just a short time of training, he reached the nascent soul stage and started wondering if the villain held this much power and if he could grow even stronger. You'll be surprised when the book's main character finally shows up. I never saw this turn coming, I promise. Our hero began celebrating because he felt stronger and even thanked God for helping him. He was honestly a little terrified of getting knocked out by the heroes. Now that he felt stronger, he couldn't help but laugh out loud with joy. The sound of our hero's evil laugh bounces all the way up the mountain. On the second morning after landing in the strange new world, Disciple Ling wakes up and greets the 2 older sisters. When people wonder why Ling looks so worn out, she explains that the master's wicked laughter echoed from the mountain peak, so terrified her that she never found the strength to sleep. All right, but clean up fast since the master has summoned us to the White Jade Nursery at the mountain's peak. Hearing his second call, they rush out to find him. He was so tired from waiting there for so long that he was barely awake. Master, My 3 younger sisters have finally made it here. Meet Dong, the eldest and most honored disciple of the clan, whose stunning beauty will make you fall in love instantly. So stay tuned to discover the secrets behind her charm. The girls were worn out, and our hero tried to act cool, so he wouldn't look like he was thrilled to have so many girls around. But he just kept saying, "Come to this mountain every morning, understand?" "Yes, master. I'll stick to my clan duties, so I won't get in the way of my sister's training." She says this because she simply isn't able to practice her cultivation. Our hero leans in and asks Cheyenne just how old she is. Cheyenne told us she's 14, and our hero just can't take his eyes off that gorgeous pair on her. He says she doesn't look her age, noting that you were supposed to start training between 9 and 12 because by 14, your meridians harden and it becomes nearly impossible to grow. The girl starts to cry, but he places a hand on Shun's head, telling her not to give up and to keep training and believing in herself. The girl fell apart after being bullied for not being able to grow her crops well. Only Master Shin offered her a second chance and welcomed her into his family. The villain pulled this trick with other plans in mind, but the poor girl had no idea about that. Now that our hero was inside Master Shin's body, he promised to look after the poor girl. "It's all right, little one. Stop crying, for we will guide you to grow stronger and make sure it happens. My goodness, this really is our master, and I can't believe how kind he's suddenly become." Dong says the master was once very kind, but now he has returned to his old ways. Later, Ling grumbles that she's had enough of waking up at dawn, hauling herself up the mountain, and then trudging all the way back down. She even admitted her feet hurt terribly because she wasn't used to climbing up there. Ming dumps a cold bucket of water on the youngest sister and scolds her for being too whiny. White-haired Shen says she's heading down the mountain to grab some veggies, so the youngest one rushes after her, gives her a big hug, and worries if their master is making her work too hard. She shakes her head and admits that her master has been training her hard, which helped her grow stronger lately, so she's pushing herself not to let him down. Ling turned to the redhead Ming and asked if the master had truly returned to being the kind person he once was. "I didn't know what to think, but every other clan turned us away until Master Shin, who saw past our weakness and chose to welcome us." Ming teased his little sister, calling her a slowpoke who had been rejected, while the youngest girl immediately argued back, insisting she was actually very smart. But one thing is sure, the master took in every single disciple, even the ones with no talent or any power at all. Not long after, the white-haired girl runs into a group of disciples from a different clan. She even asks if they have a special amulet that lets her climb her clan's mountain. The guys start teasing each other, claiming they only came to collect the valuable birds flying around the mountain that can make medicine, which is exactly the same kind of loose birds our hero had been complaining about. The girl claims she saw no birds trying to hide the truth, even though they had cooked one of them for lunch, just because they didn't know how valuable they were. She works hard to fool them, but the boys see right through her lie and turn angry. Just then, they rush to strike the helpless Shuren, believing she had no power to defend herself. Xian managed to block that shameless guy's attack and unleashed her power. She asked why they came to Mount Herbie just to look for a fight. He flies into a rage because he never thought she could use magic. He lunged to finish the girl, but Master Shin had arrived and used the jade hand to fling that bully far away. He told the girl she did a great job and thanked her. Our hero was so mad he could barely hold it in. And the invaders who had attacked the clan apologized, promising it would never happen again. "Since you are my junior students, I won't punish you. Just get out, and if your master has any complaints, he can come to me himself." He cradles Xian's face and asks if she is hurt, and she shakes her head, saying they only came looking for the birds they ate for lunch and never realized such creatures were so valuable. Our hero sighs and wishes he could have become a millionaire now that he hears the news. They had cooked the male bird for lunch, so now he needed the others to lay eggs and sell the new birds for lots of gold. Soon after, he reveals just how worried he is about his oldest apprentice. She reassures him not to worry, because that medicine healed her completely, and she's free of pain now. He says that now that she's grown so strong, she's ready to learn new spells and start practicing fresh techniques. He hands her the book so she can get studying. "The master is acting kind to me, but I can't help wondering why he hasn't punished me yet. Why has he stopped making me pay the price anymore? I told you all that she's just like darkness from Konosuba." The Immortal Seedling Conference was about to begin, where many clan members would get a chance to pick new apprentices. As the clan leaders gathered to pick new students, the girls whispered that their master stood with a funny, slouching posture just because he thought he looked cool. A girl from another clan keeps telling our hero how interesting he is, and the two of them stayed there watching Master Shin for a few minutes. The pink-haired girl burst out laughing and asked if her sister had ever been in love. She said no because that master had a shady past, and she was even scared of him. Right then, our hero hears them talking about him and he looks right at the woman. The woman is bold and keeps trying to tempt the young master. The other clan leaders quickly fall for the woman, and our hero's nose starts running. His apprentice whispered that the woman was truly shameless. Master? Master, did you spot that girl? She's incredible. Yeah, she had them and they were absolutely massive. The girl keeps repeating that same boast, angering the other clan masters who claim our hero is incredibly lucky to have so many beautiful students. Well, my book says this is the moment the hero arrives, so I can't let him join other masters or they'll make him too strong to beat. So I have to keep him in check. We saw that the boy was truly talented, and even some masters took notice of him. The master of the gathering tells the new disciples to head to the center of the convention, since they have already shown off all their skills for the day. The boys head over there and begin to dig into every single part of the cultivation foundation. As each person stepped onto the platform and let go of their powers, the crowd could see exactly which elements they held, and the fewer ones a person had, the more focused and mighty their strength was, while too many elements simply meant they weren't skilled at anything. Don keeps feeding our hero and keeps asking if he's picked his new disciple yet. Ling starts laughing at how everyone thinks they're the worst clan and that no one wants to join their group. Even so, one of the students possessed pure with spiritual power. Our hero is drawn to this disciple because he is incredibly powerful and every other master wants him. It was our hero's turn to pick, and he decided to let the skilled boy go to another master who needed him more. He chose to hand the boy over to Master Byron, the master who ran Mount Lindu on the other side of the valley. She explained that Master Shin is far stronger and his pure energy makes him the perfect master for the boy. The masters keep insisting that Shin must watch over that disciple because the master of Mount Linsu isn't very good. Our hero shouted at the shameless old men, boasting that she was truly skilled and ready to be a master just like him. This beautiful woman falls in love with our hero and tells him that Master Shin is growing into a very kind man. According to the tale, that boy would become a key figure, so our hero gives him a cookie to win his heart. The boy's master lets him eat the cookie, and our hero warns him not to join the gun-wielding character Jia or try to kill him later, because he knows this person will team up with the real hero to finally defeat the villain. The boy's master keeps thanking our hero for finding her a wonderful new student. He insists he didn't do anything special, saying he was just helping a great friend train her new apprentice. Soon the boy from the book would show up, so he had to be sure that kid would be his student. Now came the last great test. They asked the little boy to show them his special powers. He bows to the immortal masters and starts pulling power into himself. Everyone is curious, and the young master jokes that he's eager to see who will challenge the student. Suddenly, the fire element appeared, and the master smiled, calling it a wonderful sign. Then the wood element shows up. Master B shakes his head and says, "That is not good news." As soon as stone shows up, the master stops caring about the boy. Poor Xiao is starting to panic because no master would want a disciple who is so bad at everything. Things get worse when water and light show up too. All the masters started laughing at the boy and said he'd never be any good. Our hero wasn't ready for this, because it turned out totally different from what his book said. It was like a butterfly effect, where every move he made was shifting the whole story. The boy even starts crying, terrified that no master will want to take him on. But Master Shin steps right up to him, tells the boy not to be sad since he has a new master, and asks if he'd be willing to become his disciple. "Yes, I'm ready to learn from you. You only need to trust in yourself because eventually, the whole world will be at your feet." "Yes, I will remember that. Master, please take me as your student." "Yes, from now on I am your master, so come along with me." The boy sprinted away in a panic, convinced no one would ever accept him. Our hero feels thrilled because he's changing the story, giving himself a great shot at surviving and living out his dreams in this amazing world of martial arts. It was a perfect world where the story's villain, who was the gunner's master, would finally be defeated by the hero at the very end. Once they reach the mountain's highest point, they begin speaking with the new disciple. The little boy promises his master he won't let him down. Dong remarks that the master is truly changing, treating everyone with kindness instead of acting arrogant. Our hero decided to give his new disciple some very pricey pills. The disciple wonders why he spent so much money on a student who had just arrived. He told his students that he would give his all to help them grow, no matter how costly it might be. Dong admits she was rude for daring to question the master and says she deserves to be punished for it. He says he won't punish her for such a small thing. But the girl insists she deserves a punishment, and our hero suddenly realizes what's going on because he remembers she loves that kind of thing. Little boy, she watched everything with a smile that showed he was truly having fun. "Xiao, want to say something? You're good at speaking, master, but I'm actually a girl, not a boy." The hero froze, stunned by what just happened. He can't make sense of it because the hero in his book was actually a man, not a woman. After a few days at Temple H, our hero had come to see the little girl as his favorite student. From now on she is no longer Xiao but disciple Qin. The tiny girl was smarter than she looked and not innocent at all, even going so far to tease our hero. Qin had dressed up as a boy to pass the test and get picked by the clans. He couldn't figure out why his story was turning out this way. He had no idea why the gun-wielding hero from his book had suddenly turned into a woman, meaning he was completely changing the story's path. So he opens the book and begins telling her stories about the path of cultivation. He told her to keep those teachings close to her heart, for they held great power. With lunch ready, the white-haired sister beamed with joy, eager to share her cooking with the master and watch his delighted reaction, a sign that she loved him deeply. The white-haired one remarks that the older sister is acting very weird today. The other students came in and said they should start eating because Master Shin was running late while he was with disciple Qin. Ming looked at the charred bird with regret, knowing they had wasted a treasure worth millions. And she's already getting angry, wondering who the crazy person was that did that. You cooked that bird for lunch? Just as Master Shin shows up, the little redhead is already panicking. Standing beside his eager new disciple Qin, he quickly said he was starving and couldn't wait for lunch. He walked to the table, absolutely starving and drooling, because the food looked so good. But when Shun sees that the rare bird on the table is cooked, he erupts in anger, and while Ming whispers for him to stay calm, Shin demands to know who did it, only to find all the disciples kneeling in shame except for Ling, who refuses to bow. He realized he couldn't stay angry any longer, so he decided to quit being the bad guy and finally become the hero. He keeps pushing them to tell the truth and say who roasted that bird. Dong quickly admits it was her fault and begs to be punished for her careless mistake. But he keeps refusing because he remembers she actually loves that kind of attention. Qin wonders if giving Dong a little punishment would stop her from making big mistakes again. Our hero can't help but picture Dong as a small child getting scolded by her parents, and he even speaks that silly thought out loud. Dong's face turned bright red, even though she was secretly thrilled by the idea. The master sits down, calls Dong over to the chair, and says he's going to punish her so everyone else will finally pay attention. But she loved that idea so much that she ended up going to our hero's lap to ask him to give her a proper punishment. The shameless hero gets super pumped, but he remembers he has to do this the right way to truly teach his students. He gave the girls a few quick lessons, but it wasn't a punishment at all because Dong was having so much fun. The other disciples are so embarrassed by the screams that they can't even look at the crowd. Our hero shouts that it's over, even as the girl insists she deserves a longer punishment. He even said his hunger had vanished, and since he was so powerful, he wouldn't need to eat for several days. He walks away, and you ask your older sister if she is okay. I'm okay, and the young master isn't a bad person at all. Then she keeps asking Sister Ming for fresh clothes since her robe got dirty, you know the kind of mess I mean. The little redhead dashes off to grab the clothes while the two younger ones, confused by what's happening, keep asking what on earth is going on. And Dong was completely smitten with our hero, convinced that he was truly amazing. The clever little sister finally began to get it. Later, he was washing in his room when he heard a voice calling out to him. Disciple Dong stepped up to wash her master's back. He says it's not needed, but she argues it absolutely is. She steps up to wash the young master's back. Just then, little Qin shouts for the master from outside, and he quickly shoves Dong into the wardrobe to hide him. Right after that, he used his cultivation to dry up the entire room until not a single trace was left behind. Little Qin walks in to find Sister Dong already cleaning the tub, so she casually starts chatting about something random just because she heard her name being called. She kept glancing at the wardrobe, hoping to see the older sister she had imagined was inside. Dong was squeezed tight inside the hot, stuffy wardrobe. The smart kid chooses to brew some tea for our hero, while the older sister stays inside the wardrobe in love, sniffing the master's clothes and praising how fragrant they are. Our hero quietly asks her to keep it down. A short while later, little disciple Qin arrives with a cup of tea for her master. But then she trips midair and dumps the tea everywhere. The young master moved with such skill that he caught everything before a single thing could hit the floor. He also grabs the little girl. He knew Qin just wanted to splash tea on his clothes, so he had to rush to the wardrobe to change, which would instantly give away that someone was hiding inside. But this clever girl pretended she really tripped, playing the part of someone who thinks our hero is a kind soul. Once Qin was gone, our hero went to see how Dong was doing. She was completely drained after 2 hours of being trapped inside that wardrobe. Master Shin called out to her, telling her to come out of there. Dong insists that since she's caused so much trouble for her master, she deserves a brand new punishment. Shin urges Dong to swap his clothes and leave quickly to avoid making a bad impression on the other junior disciples. So Dong changes and admits he'll be gone for a bit to grab a few things. Because the big yearly selection was coming early the next day and everyone needed to be strong and ready, He hunted for new items to use his cultivation skills to look younger and travel around looking for sacred treasures near our hero, while another clan with strong but not exceptional warriors made its way along the same path. Then, a mouth-watering smell of barbecue fills the air. And there was our hero by the road, getting those skewers ready. Everyone rushes over to ask how much the lamb meat costs. A passenger in the carriage tosses a golden leaf to the servant, letting him buy a barbecue for our hero. They had gone so long without eating that their stomachs were growling loud. The man asks how much the boy wants for it, and the boy replies that he is the captain of the guard at Muin Castle. Our hero can't stop watching them once he notices what they're doing. The head guard trades a shiny gold leaf for the chance to cook the barbecue. Shun tells the brothers that since there is too much food for him, they should help themselves. The guard was quite honorable and thanked our hero. Finally, the clan leaders in the carriage ride up to the young master to say thank you. Who are these two stunning women? Could they be sisters or a mother with her daughter? It's really hard to tell. His face turns red as he shyly asks who they are. Back in the crowd, a younger girl bursts out laughing while the woman beside her says the skewers were amazing and introduces herself as Sasha. She also says they came from Muin Castle and that the other girl was her daughter Ing, before asking our hero's name. He explains that the clan of artists hides their real names, so they just call him Jin. The girl quickly apologizes, admitting she was rude, since she knows cultivators never share their true names with strangers. She looks like she's into our hero and keeps asking him where he's headed. The young master says he's in a rush and keeps moving on his path. The little girl in the back kept laughing at her mom because it looked like that boy had turned her down. He then tells her he's heading to Annie Mountain and asks if she'll give him a ride since she's going there too. The girl's cheeks turned red as she kept staring at our hero, and it looked like they were truly falling in love. So he joins his clan's group, and when night falls and they set up camp, Ing asks her mother why she let a stranger travel with them. She says she can't quite put it into words, but she truly felt he was a good person. She really liked the young master because he was so handsome. Well, my daughter, he also told her he was heading to Anli Mountain, the dreaded Demon Peak, where no one has ever returned, proving he must be incredibly powerful. The girl asked her mother if she could marry the young cultivator instead, since doing so would let her avoid marrying the eldest son of the Yoshua clan. Madame Sasha's small clan had to join hands with bigger families to stay safe. That's exactly why they decided to take the journey. She kept telling her daughter that she could marry that young cultivator because he was so handsome and seemed to have a pure heart. Our hero sneezed because the two people were talking about him. The guard master walks over to the young master and tells him the night is getting colder, so he should head to a tent to warm up. Our hero declared he'd stay by the fire to warm up, saying he didn't need any sleep. After mentioning Muin Castle, the guard reveals that the previous leader died, leaving everyone without protection until Madame Sasha took charge as the new leader, the woman the old master had planned to marry. But he died before ever meeting the young lady who adopted the little girl, not his own, who was then destined to marry into the Yoshua clan. Our hero remembers the clan's name, though he gets a bit confused because it belongs to that stunning girl who tried to catch his eye by doing something bold at the meeting. The man also says he has served this clan for many years and owes his life to them. At that very moment, the young master ordered the guard chief to wake up all the warriors because a stranger had slipped into the camp. Because our hero was so powerful, he could feel other cultivators standing hundreds of meters away. He whispers that the bad guys are hiding close by. Suddenly, every warrior bursts out of their tents to start guarding the camp. A raider clan shows up, and Madame Sasha steps out of her tent to shield her disciples. She even asked the young cultivator to stay back so she wouldn't risk sending him into a fight that wasn't his to fight. He admits that Sasha is a truly worthy and honorable woman who would make a good wife. He also sees the woman's daughter standing behind him, and even though she is scared, she does not run away. Now that fate has thrown us together, I promise to stand by you and keep you safe. So the fight starts, and the warriors throw everything they have to keep their family safe. Just as our hero stands with the girl, an enemy hurls a fire spear right at them. The grizzled veteran of the king's guard casts a spell to slice the spear in half. The madam keeps thanking him, insisting he is very powerful. But right after that, a bunch of arrows suddenly fly down at them from above. The old man sets up a shield to guard the carriage and keep everyone in the camp safe. After that, he casts a spell through his sword to knock down the archers. High above, a master from the foundation building realm looked down. The old man knew they were up there and saw those guys trying to grab the madam and her daughter. Those guys were trying to grab the clan leaders and take them away. Another dark cultivator steps out of the woods and grins, claiming that since they've spotted the madam with her group, this fight is finally going to get real. But our elder held far greater power. The moment they catch sight of the young master, they sense his incredible power and immediately throw themselves down in surrender. The madam thanked him, saying the boy saved everyone's lives, even though he never fought them directly. But he turns red and says he didn't do anything special, just returned the favor. They bowed and called him young master, showing just how much those two wanted to be near our hero. Those scoundrel cultivators knelt and begged forgiveness, admitting their clan master had ordered them to kidnap both the madam and her daughter. One of the guys started shouting at his partner, calling him a traitor for spilling the secrets. And then they begin to fight. One of them tried to hit his friend, but our hero stopped the blow by snapping the blade in two and knocking the bully back, shouting, "Who gave you the right to move?" Our hero was absolutely awesome. The other cultivator kept apologizing, bewildered that such a young boy could hold power that big. Our hero switched his method because swinging his famous jade sword would reveal he was Master Shun, which he wanted to keep secret. That's why he picked up a weaker sword instead. That faker keeps saying sorry and begging not to get kicked out. You only have 20 breaths left, and whoever finds the lotus seed collection first will be the one to live. With that, the two men began to fight. The gray-haired man moves faster and shoots an arrow straight into his old friend's chest. Immediately after that, he hands over the lotus seeds. But the other one was still alive and came up behind him to strike. "Alright, since you were the one who won, I'll leave you alone." After she spoke, Madame Sasha's bodyguard took out the man in a way nobody expected. The young master insists he kept his word, while the madame keeps apologizing and claiming her servant went too far without her say. "Don't worry about it. I kept my word because I wasn't the one who did the killing." That golden treasure was claimed by a cultivator who had just reached the Earth League stage. The young master shook his head at the item's incredible power, told the elder he didn't need it, and handed it back. He had to train hard to master that item's traits, or else it might put his own life in danger. It feels so good to be the hero of the tale, even after I once feared I'd have to turn into the villain, because playing the main character is just way better. He acts like a movie hero just to see the girls fall for him and feel happy about it. That girl keeps begging the young master to stay, pleading, "Young master, don't you want to ride with us instead of heading up that dangerous mountain?" Who could possibly be an idiot to say no to an offer like that? Of course, our hero agrees and even wears that shameless grin on his face. So they all climb up to the mountain. The girls go wild next to our hero, even feeding him right from their hands. He wondered if the girl would be sent to live with the Joshua family. Her mother gave her the go-ahead, and since Elder B noted her strong training, she was chosen to become a mighty warrior who would build alliances. She absolutely refused to be sent to that place and instead begged her mother to let her marry the hero, arguing that at 14 she was a grown-up girl just like others her age who usually got married right away. "You're right, Sasha. She isn't small at all and has already grown quite tall." Our shameless hero keeps repeating those words because he is so tempted to marry her. So he invites the girl to join his clan as a disciple, showing her his special double cultivation trick that immediately grabs her attention and makes her eager to learn how it works. As he touched her head, her body began to burn with the power of their shared cultivation. The mother's face turns bright red, and her daughter nearly collapses from the shock. The training was so strong that the young master had to hold her tight to keep her from getting hurt. Even the shameless one's nose starts bleeding as he claims she possesses a very rare, empty spiritual root. An empty spiritual root can turn a cultivator into an immortal, but only after many, many years of hard work. Because he briefly woke up this dual cultivation power within her. Suddenly, Yuteng gets a fever and feels like monsters are trying to catch her. After that, she wakes up and asks him if she's qualified enough to join his clan as a disciple. He began to smile, realizing that she was not only beautiful but also far more powerful and skilled than any of the other disciples. "All right, Yuteng, you possess a gift no one else has. Shall I make you my new student?" Her face lights up with pure joy as she eagerly accepts, declaring that she truly wants to become the young master's apprentice. "Now that you've become my disciple, listen closely. I will teach you how to cultivate your power, but you must do the hard work of training on your own. Second, since I won't always be there to watch your back, you'll have to train hard on your own while I help you decide what it really means to grow strong. And third, whenever you hit a snag, just call me anytime and I'll show up to help you out. Do you understand?" "Yes, master. I get it. I got it all." He keeps patting the girl's head, telling her that having a student like her is a lovely change from the other disciples in his clan. One loved pulling funny tricks, while the other was always tripping over nothing. The oldest loved getting in trouble, while the youngest was completely scatterbrained. In short, this new follower named Utting turned out to be the most hopeful one of them all. He tells the girl's mother that Utting is made of something rare and deserves extra care. The mother is terrified and says it's too dangerous for her daughter, but our hero reassures her that he'll help her train hard, so there's no problem at all. The guard named Jin Suea walked up to our hero to ask for some cultivation advice. He warned that the old man was growing too weak and sick too quickly, so he needed special training to stay alive longer. So, the young master hands over a pill that gives him more energy and helps him live longer. The old man knew it was real and felt his strength fading fast. Because of this, he begins to feel deeply moved by the hero's incredible gift. So he bows down in thanks and promises to do whatever the hero asks. Our hero asks one last thing. That you look after Madame Sasha and Castle Muelling for the rest of your life. The girl's mother beamed with pride, telling her daughter she's finally lucky to be the young master's disciple and won't have to go live apart in that clan or face separation again. So from now on, she must listen to the young master. She keeps telling her mom that the clan's leaders don't play by normal rules and that she really wants to marry him. The mother is stunned, wondering why they have to be the ones who thought about all that stuff. Right then, they realized the young master was hiding right behind them, listening to every word. They couldn't hide their embarrassed faces and admitted the young master was so fast and unpredictable that they felt like he was building a harem instead of taking on disciples, which is exactly what he ended up doing by gathering a whole group of girls into his clan even though he didn't want to. He says the protector will stand watch over Castle Muelling, so there is no reason to feel afraid. The woman was shocked that the young master had already figured out everything. He even says they don't need to visit the other clan anymore, and he promises to ride to the castle later to check on them himself. The little girl walks over to say goodbye to the young master, who promises to show them his real face since the one they saw was just a disguise. So right before the mother and daughter, he sheds his disguise to reveal his true self. They grew even more obsessed with him because he seemed to hold even greater power. So he kept flying toward the mountain, refusing to waste another second because he had to grab those items quickly to help his disciples. That demonic mountain was so terrifying that no one lived within 100 kilometers of it. Deep in the dangerous mountains where venomous snakes lurked, he hunted for a special tree holding the magical fruit. He found a sacred tree hanging with exactly 5 magical fruits. But a toad was keeping guard over the tree. Our hero could easily crush that toad with his power, but he refused to act like a villain. So he decided to lie down and wait for the toad to go away. Even after a few days had gone by, the toad had still not gone. The toad snapped up any insects that flew past, yet he never left the tree to guard it for even a single second. So our hero gets so mad he wants to just smash his way out with the toad still in the room. But then he begins to plot a new plan. He makes a magical trick, turning a toad into a female one to charm the guardian and lead him away. As the toad slips away, he sprints toward the tree to grab the fruit. Only the toad went back to the tree because it knew something was wrong. The creature blasts a stream of poison at our hero, but he quickly pulls out a sword to block the attack. The fight with the toad is getting really fierce now. Our hero hits the poor creature, just hard enough to hurt but not kill. The toad perched atop the mountain, convinced that this cultivator was truly a mighty force. But right then, a lotus blooms in the fire, which means someone has unlocked the golden core stage. The toad fired a deadly blast that smashed into the lotus, triggering a massive explosion that left him confused about where such power came from until a woman suddenly appeared. And it was Yoon, the young master's ex-girlfriend. She belonged to the Toon clan and was the leader's daughter. The toad spoke up, saying people of this time aren't very strong, and then it shot a stream of water at the woman. She, a master of fire, unleashes a screaming phoenix that is a powerful spell. She skillfully blocks the water blades and throws them right back at the toad. Why bring out the fire phoenix to fight you when I could just use my own hands? She hints that she's so strong she doesn't even need to cast spells to get what she wants. But our hero lets out a nervous laugh, knowing how his ex-girlfriend loves to bluff. She dives toward the monster, flipping through the air as she closes in. But the toad wasn't weak, and she barely dodged at the last second. I can't believe I'm watching this battle because it looks like a kid's fight. The creature breathes out a poisonous gas that wraps her in an escapeless cloud. So she starts to go weak in the knees and feels like she might pass out. Just as she was about to fall into the lake, the monster lunged out with its long tongue, snatched her up, and growled that it was going to devour her because monsters like that feed on cultivators. Just as the clock runs out, our hero swings his turquoise sword, casting a spell that blasts the toad far away. Even though the poor beast admits it got stuck in a trap, it still won't let those humans take its fruit. They unleash a new power against our hero, but he charges forward, riding the growing wave of energy. The young master was way stronger than the toad. The girl feels completely spellbound to know that someone with such incredible strength actually exists. He puffs up his chest, boasting that he has no enemies, and the girl's enchantment grows even stronger. He readies the next powerful wave to strike. She watches from behind and sees the boy is amazing as he cuts a giant slice from the mountain just to scare the toad. How can this be? I can't believe someone this strong actually exists. I'm not trying to beat you, so please don't get in my way. The toad thanks the young master for letting it live, admitting it would have been smarter to fight sooner and grab the fruit instead of wasting a whole week just waiting. The girl asked for one of the 5 elemental fruits and said just tell her the price. He knew she was the kind of person who wouldn't stop fighting for what she wanted, no matter how hard things got. She didn't recognize her ex-boyfriend or Master Shin because he had changed his look so much that she couldn't tell them apart. As she gazed at his face, memories of Master Shin surfaced and made her blush, so she offered to swap the fruits for 5 fifth-grade elixirs. His toe dipped deep into the water and he whispered that if she wanted to offer something like that, she might as well offer it to him, since he would go there and trade the fruits right away. But our hero recalls that she was so naive she didn't know how much things were really worth. That's why she kept offering deals that were too good to be true. He gazes at the girl and tells her she's just as she was. She reaches into her sleeve to pull out an item and offers to swap it for a glowing spiritual stone from the fiery infernal mountain. Well, I'm sorry, but I can't hand this one over to you. How about this one, the secret jade hidden in the clouds? The toad begins whispering to our hero, suggesting they team up to beat the girl and grab the items. Hold on, did you really think I'd let you speak? The toad freezes in fear, turns to the girl, and warns her that showing off her treasures to everyone is a terrible idea because it could get her robbed. She admits she ran away from home. Our hero stands silent, unsure of what else to say to the girl. Because she is so innocent, he uses his power to gather the 5 fruits from the tree and chooses one to give to her. She stares in shock and asks if he really means to give her a fire elemental fruit. Yes, I'll give you some fruit, but don't show your special things to anyone because you might meet someone who wants to hurt you. As soon as she hears our hero's voice, she finds herself thinking about her old boyfriend again. They looked similar at a glance, but the cruel Master Shan bore no resemblance to the kind young man helping her. Hey there, friend. I can't just take this fruit for free, so please tell me how much it costs. He then decides to trade the item for a magic potion that changes him and a glowing gold bar. She beams with joy, knowing only a powerful cultivator like this young master could wield such a rare Ulu gold ingot. He blushes and admits he isn't that strong. You carried the transformation pill with her, though she forgot to bring the heavy gold bar. So she hands our hero a jade sword that can channel power. This jade sword let him talk to her from anywhere and even teleport her back to her clan with the gold ingot as a thank you for saving his life. He asks her name before telling her his own, which is Hein. Before she vanished, the girl whispered that Hina must never forget her and promised to stay in touch. That guy was a terrible liar, folks. While the toad tried to get away, our hero then shows he's about to hand over the magic pill that will change everything. The toad wondered if our hero was hoping to make him a pet. Oh, so you don't want this? You're refusing my generosity. Is that it? Nothing threatening in our hero's words. And the toad ends up having to accept it against his will. He hands over the pill and promises to watch over the toad until the medicine starts working. As soon as the toad started changing, a bunch of monsters rushed in to attack the poor thing. And just as we feared, the monsters showed up to try to eat the toad. Our hero knocked out every monster, then told him not to fear his own death because I will stand guard over him. He blasts all his spiritual power to send the monsters fleeing while the toad starts his own transformation. Our hero keeps fighting off the magical beasts that try to hurt the poor toad. As monsters popped up one after another, our hero stood his ground, calling on his inner power to fight them all with pure courage. Then he discovers a snake skin and declares it perfect for crafting tights for his disciples. He even pictures one of them wearing it and thinks it would look great, which makes him a truly shameless hero, doesn't it? So the toad had finished its transformation and thanked its new master for helping it grow. Our hero decides to pick a name for him and wonders if he is truly a boy. The toad was a girl who called herself a toadess. Our hero can't even find a male from his clan, so he asks why she was tricked by a fake toad girl, leaving the real toad shocked and sad over her first love being a lie. Our hero then places his hand on his head and sighs, promising to find a new friend for the toadess. In the end, he gave her the name Black because her power was all dark. The scene shifts to Muing Castle, where the madam sits with clan elders who warn her that her mansion is in danger and she must either marry her daughter to the royal family of Jad or find a husband for herself. But the madam wasn't in the mood to agree. The old men were getting annoyed and pushed by everyone to marry the madam or her daughter to the prince's sons. She is furious that her daughter would marry strangers they barely know, so she slams her hand on the table to refuse their offer, knowing they only care about the moment. The figure arrives, stomping hard on the ground. That prince from the kingdom of Jaw keeps bragging about the madam's beautiful body and fiery temper, and just looking at his face tells you he's in big trouble. He keeps stirring the pot, claiming that since she's a widow, she needs a powerful new man, and he's even told the madam to stop calling you daughter, because you're just sisters, not blood relatives. He even suggests marrying both of them, and you can already tell he's not a good guy. She kneels before His Majesty, the sixth prince, to apologize but firmly refuses to change her mind. She yells for Elder B to protect her as they run away, because that guy was furious after the protagonist gave him a special power. The prince's guard claims the old man is just halfway through his training and too weak to be a threat. But the boy explodes in anger, insisting he never realized Muin Castle was protected by a cultivator. At that moment, the boy insists the boy is incredibly powerful and filled with dark energy, warning that even he couldn't protect the prince if the old man attacked. So the prince suddenly flips his attitude and acts respectful to the madam just to prove he's in charge and make them fear him. Old Bai flexes his power and scares everyone, revealing that while they pretend to protect the Muing mansion for his sake, they really just want his money and are now drawing swords to fight. The tiny frog had watched the whole thing and hopped over to Shine to tell him what he saw, and she's the best, isn't she, guys? The tiny frog is a girl, and the small toad tells her that her apprentice is already at Muing Castle, where an old man will guard it, so she can train there safely all by herself. Our hero claims the royal family of Jod is gone, yet many other wealthy kingdoms and clans still want Muin Castle for its riches. Our hero explains that this part of the tale will focus on conversations and romance, with the big battles waiting for later, since his readers are not looking for non-stop fighting. I'm not all about battles either, so if you love romance and cultivation tales, drop a comment and tell us what you think. However, our hero knew the castle of the Kingdom of Jod was guarded by 3 terrifyingly powerful cultivators whose strength was so overwhelming it threw the world out of balance. So he had to call on his ex-girlfriend, Sasha, for help. The tiny toad claims the cultivation world isn't scary, but our hero knows better. He warns that the danger is so great even the tiny toad must hide or risk becoming fried chicken. The little toad protests loudly, insisting she's not a chicken at all but a toad. Our hero vanishes, saying he's heading to Muin Castle to speak with his disciple, Yudding. We saw her sitting in a room, meditating to make her cultivation stronger. She began her training a little late, but her natural talent made up for it, so she took a deep breath and started to guide her energy. That way she began to float, proving her foundation cultivation was going great. She opens her eyes and sees someone is in the room. Our hero, Master Sean, stood there using his special power to pour tea. He admits his new apprentice has worked tirelessly and has grown so much in just a short time. The girl jumps with excitement to hug Master Sean, and sure enough, he's thrilled to be the one she's leaping onto. He said it hadn't been long since they said goodbye, so she shouldn't miss him so much. But as you know, the girl is head over heels for our hero and can't stop telling him how eager she is to see him. Shun tells her that if she needs anything, she should just ask, and he promises to go to any length to get it for her as a gift. She wonders if it's even real, and suddenly her mind drifts to naughty thoughts that make her nose start to bleed. Since many of you are still confused about what this nosebleed means, drop your answer in the comments if you know, because I know there are plenty of people who just don't get this joke. Our hero worries and asks if she is okay, but the girl is far too excited and simply claims she ate too much to hide the real reason for her discomfort. He let out an awkward laugh and admitted he never realized girls did that too. In that instant, he pulls out the tiny frog and declares that she holds real power. She has reached the next level of her soul and will stay with the girl to keep her safe. With tears streaming down her face, the girl begged Master Sean if he was saying goodbye again and if he no longer cared about her. He shakes his head, saying things aren't like that at all, and then wraps his arms around her to hug her while softly petting the top of her head. Suddenly, the cup crashes to the floor, creating a deafening crash. The woman there, holding a cup, drops it in shock when she sees our hero being hugged. She stared in shock at what her eyes saw and suddenly felt a sharp sting of jealousy. The girl was crying, which made her lady look very worried. As she glances down, she spots a red stain. Then she starts spinning wild ideas, and you all know exactly what she's thinking, don't you? Our hero keeps insisting it's not what she thinks and that he can explain, but that only makes the madam slam the door and run away. Outside, the lady said she couldn't believe her eyes. She notes that Chuna wasn't even grown yet, but Master Sean was already moving in. She even worries she looks too old, which is why Master Sean wasn't interested in her. To make the lady even more embarrassed, Master Sean recalled how she had admitted she looked young and beautiful rather than old, pointing out that at 14, he must be around 23 or 24. She apologizes for intruding, while Master Sean insists nothing serious happened and that he's not dating you, only for Madam to snap back that she doesn't need his explanations since they aren't a couple either. Stammering, he admits he came running because she seemed to have misunderstood everything, only for the madam to push further by asking exactly what he felt she got wrong and what was really going on. She throws all her charm at our hero, making his heart race so fast he doesn't know what to say. He starts to picture himself gripping the girl's waist tightly, while she asks him to stop calling her madam, and just use her name. She would keep teasing him by telling him that calling her by her real name instead of Madame sounded way better, even though she was the leader of Mooing Castle. But honestly, that was all just in my head, because Master Shan was a man of honor who would never take advantage of anyone who showed interest in him. I wager that if it were you, you would have made a move a long time ago. He bolts away, shouting that he has pressing business inside the castle and will speak to her later. Master Shan, who was fiercely loyal to his students, chose to head back to Mount Herb. As they traveled, he kept complaining about how embarrassing it was that he fled like a frightened little kitten. Suddenly, a magic sword popped into view before him and started beeping just like a ringing phone. The moment he replies, his phone floods with messages from Cape Senhain, his ex-girlfriend. He can't figure out how a phone notification could possibly exist in this old world where people cultivate their strength. From now on, he's going to start unlocking the system, and you'll see how the story is going to get interesting. He keeps wondering if his ex really wanted a long-distance relationship with him. We spot her on the far side of the kingdom, beaming with joy that he answered back, and she keeps bragging that she'll never let him slip away from her. The girl acts like a dramatic stalker, lying on the ground and claiming she searched for him for ages and won't let him slip away like he did before. She even pouted, reminding him that the last time they met, he walked out without saying goodbye. Back at Peak, our hero walked home with the things he had collected. For anyone who forgot, our hero once traveled to find things and craft holy items for his students. They had to grab these special items to get stronger and pass the tough Cultivators Council exam. But his students were often silly, didn't take the training seriously, and just kept playing around. Luna, the girl with white hair, even asks what the junior sister intends to do with that attack pose. Next, the cheeky girl lunges at the third senior, shouting that she's ready to end her. But the older sister jumps out from behind and grabs her, yelling that she won't let the girl pull off her tricks. Here's a little fan treat for you, but we'll skip right over that part since it's not something we can show. Just as our hero arrives at the perfect moment, he notices clothes flying everywhere and wonders what's going on. The clever girl keeps telling her master that he's arrived at just the perfect moment because the other girls are right now soaking in a hot spring bath. He keeps insisting that once the girls are finished, he's going to take a bath because he's all sweaty. But the girl grabs the master's arm, begging him not to go. She had ready the hot spring and waited by it so he could soak and rest after his hard work and have some fun. You all know exactly what she was trying to say. Feeling so embarrassed, our hero even makes that cheeky face. But he soon realizes he has to step up and act like a true master. That is exactly why he punished the student, because she had never dared to disrespect him or say anything like that before. But as you can guess, everyone loves a little punishment like this. Immediately after he warns her not to use her charms on the master, since he is a powerful cultivator who demands respect, she stops. Our hero mentioned that a visitor had dropped by to say hello to her. The girl with pink hair was the one who came to visit him. She smiles at Master Shan, saying she came to see him and asking for his pardon for the trouble she caused. He says not to worry and leads the girl inside the palace so they can talk. The moment they step inside, the girl feels weird because everyone warned her that Master Shan was a terrible man. But she saw that he was very kind and not arrogant like everyone claimed. She watched him care for his followers and realized he wasn't as cold as people said he was. She even began to care for him because he treated both her and his students so kindly. He tells her that a student picked out some top-notch herbs for a tea and offers it to her, promising it will be one of the tastiest drinks she's ever had. She thanked him, saying she'd come today just to say thanks for the recommendation he gave her at the Immortal Sprouts conference. He insisted it meant nothing, claiming he only suggested her because he truly felt she was the best fit for the student. She admits her standing in the clan was shaky because she lacked many disciples, but now that she has this recommendation, she's finally starting to earn some real respect. That's why she brought him a gift to say thank you. Our hero refused the gift, knowing it meant too much to her. But she feels hurt, thinking he's turning down her kind heart and the precious gift she offered. He felt nervous because he had written her as kind, but she proved much stronger and more determined than he expected, and refusing her might just turn her into his new enemy. So he happily agrees, telling her not to worry since he'd give her anything she asked for. Whenever he says that, the girls give him that look and you already know why, don't you? He asks if she needs help with anything and reassures her that she can ask for anything without being shy, promising he'll make it happen. She wanted to build a special treasure for Quine to prove how much she loved her apprentice. So she even went out of her way to gather all the materials he needed to make it. In that instant, he sees that the girl he wrote has become someone brave and determined, risking everything to gather the materials so he could build the magical item, and while she thanks him endlessly for his help, she promises that he can ask for anything he needs without hesitation. Master Shan keeps telling her to stop being so stiff, relax, and have a drink. So they began sipping tea and chatting it more, swapping a few thoughts along the way. Since they were the same age, she thought Master Shan would be childish and arrogant, but he turned out to be cool, kind, and knew a ton about cultivation. Of course he knew everything, didn't he, guys? He was the one who wrote the story. He watched Ban sip her tea and thought she looked even more beautiful than the books had said. But then he realizes he's falling in love with the clan master. He couldn't let his surprise show, for he had to keep his eyes locked on the Golden Core realm or risk falling victim to an attack from another realm while he was distracted. Ban tells Master Shan that the tea tastes different and is truly delicious. Just then, she felt something change inside her, and she knew it was the tea working its magic. If you liked this story, drop a comment below. Keep an eye out for more of the best tales we'll share soon. And that's all for today. See you next time.